Okay, so Jim
Yes.
Jones, when
Yes.
was the last time I saw you?
Maybe a few months back.
And this whole time, you didn't tell me that you were working on an album. You were being real sneaky out here.
I actually really wasn't actually working on an album. This album is, when I was doing Wasted Talent and the Diplomat Project and a couple other things, the way I record, at the end of the night, I record till like 5, 6 in the morning. So on the walkout, I always seem to tell Austin to put a beat up, and I might do something real quick, 20, 30 minutes, and just leave it. So those one verses that I've been leaving on numerous amounts of nights turned into us having 40 variations of different records. And so Austin was like, man, you might as well start to finish up these records and let's do a project. And that's what happened.
Well, I like how you make it just sound so casual. So on the album, let me look at this. You got Cam on there. You got Rick Ross, Fabulous, Wiz Khalifa, Fat Joe, Dave East. This didn't just happen, okay?
I mean, the features and stuff, all those features came about probably maybe in the last 30 to 40 days when I was in the closing moments of the album after I kind of finished some records and I left some spots open, and it just kind of organically came together. I mean, I can't say I meticulously put it all together. It just was a vibe and a feeling like, yo, this person would sound dope on this record. And, the Fab record, I was trying to get a record with Fab done a couple of times, and I finally found the record that he said, oh, now this is a vibe right here. I was hyped. And then, so that was the first record I got with Fab. And then with the Rick Ross, my nephew down in Miami, JB, he put that together. Like, I've been trying to get a record with Ross for a long time, so this is my first record with Ross. And so there's a lot of bucket list records on this album. So it was good.
So you've been holding out. I just want you to know I felt a little cheated because I was like, wait, what album? He didn't even mention this last time.
It wasn't. It was so much other things going on, the Diplomat album, so it wasn't on the radar at that time. And I kind of, I'm kind of a recluse, so I've been to myself trying to get everything together. But I'm here now.
Tell me about the title. El Capo.
El Capo.
Yeah. So tell me about this. What made you want to name it this?
A few things. Surviving this game for so long and making so much money. Everybody with the infamous El Chapo. So I kind of took a play on the El Chapo as El Capo and kind of being the underboss in this game for a long time, doing a lot of different things, that whole play on it. But on another note, the kind of L is one of the variations for the word God, and God Capo is not to say I'm a God, but in different ways, I feel good about myself. So what I mean, I'm blessed by God. So the whole terminology and shit like that. You know
what? I feel like when you're talking about all the years you've been in the game and all the work that you've been doing, and of course the success that you've had. I don't know. I feel like this is just the beginning in a weird way, right? I don't know. I feel like your energy right now, you're like, damn, I've been working a long time. But I do feel like there's a certain energy. Even the last time I saw you, I feel like it's a different kind of hunger. And I'm really trying to figure it out, if it's the business side, if it's the everything just coming together the way it's supposed to. Do you feel like that's happening too in your career?
I definitely feel like I'm getting another chance at a lot of different things that I was already involved in, like a kind of a restart, which is always a blessing.
Right.
I've been in this game for so long, even before I was actually doing music, just moving with my brother Cam. So to be able to stay relevant this long and be able to recreate something that people still are interested in is a great feeling, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm just happy to be in this space, you know what I mean? I take what I could get. If it's a restart, then they need to be worried. I would be very, very worried if it's a restart.
That. You know what? I feel that even when I'm looking at, your posts, and of course it's, I don't talk to you every day, so I don't really know what you're going through every day, but I don't know. I just feel like there's a different kind of energy, and I don't know if it's just life, happiness, and just happy to be here and happy to be able to do what you do, and I think that's important because I think that's part of evolution too. It's important to look at the positive and stay hungry.
Hungry is the number one, but it's also combined with like the people that you keep around you. You know what I mean? Like if you're a person that got negative energy around you, is bound to reflect on you and keep you all in that space. But I got a few good people around me that help me keep my spirits up. I go through a lot of my own things at a lot of times. So, you know,
we're humans, right?
They refuse to leave me alone. They refuse to, you know what I mean, let me stay in that space, and I respect it, man. So, you know, it comes with everything. I'm human, like you said, but I've done a lot in my past that I don't feel that I have to never do again. So at this point, I want to use them all as learning experiences for people who could use an example as we move further, or at least know that it could happen to you in that fashion. Like, you know, I'm not an angel. I don't, you know what I mean, play to be an angel. You know what I mean? So at this point, I'm happy that I'm still here, that could tell people, like, this might not be the route that you want to necessarily take to get your point across.
You know what? I feel like, though, a lot of people, not just in the industry, I think a lot of people enjoy your journey because you're so, you know, you're just authentic to who you are, right? So yes, you've gone through things, we've seen it play out, ups and downs, but you've always stayed true to yourself. And, you know, you've never shied away from, oh, I grew from that situation, or I did something wrong in that situation. And to me, that's powerful, because, you know, a lot of people can't ever admit when they're wrong, by the way.
It's hard for me to admit when I'm wrong, but I know I've done a lot of wrong that, you know, as a man, you got to be responsible with what I tell my son every day. That's the biggest lesson. I tell him responsibility is the biggest lesson in life that you're going to ever learn. Like, you got to have to be responsible for all your actions, and that's what I try to do, no matter what it may be. You know what I mean? So, you know.
For this album, what was the energy? What was it that you felt like, you know, because when you're putting music together as a musician, like, I can never understand that because I'm not a musician, but was there something that you really wanted to convey that you want us to feel when we're listening to it?
It was a few things on this album. A few points I was trying to prove. One was to myself, as far as stepping my game up when it comes to my artistry with the music, like totally, from every aspect of it, from my flow to my delivery to the cadence to the words I use, you know what I mean, to the stories I chose to tell, to, you know what I mean, like the synopsis I give, like I wanted to be there where people could, it shocked people. The shock value is what I was looking for, and I think I got that point across. Another one that's been a great inspiration to me has been my lady, because...
Who's amazing.
Yes, what's up, Chris? I mean, in the past couple years, I haven't been doing music like, you know what I mean? You go through ups and downs, so it's not been a lot of music of mine for her to listen to, but she knows everybody else's music, and natural, you know, everybody loves good music, so I made it a point that this time I make some records that she gonna be like, oh man, you know what I mean? And so I sent her the album a few weeks ago, and she called me all the time about it, like, yo, this what I'm talking about. So, you know, that was one of the things, and I kind of I got that. So shout out to my unicorn for giving me some great inspiration. Besides that, it's Harlem. Like, if you haven't been to Harlem, we call Harlem the Natural Museum of Fly History. Like, you know,
right. I mean, we see. Yeah,
I mean, no,
see. This is light work today.
This is gym attire, you know. It's, the weather is mixy, so it's not too much. This is a dry drip. You know what I mean? We cool, but Harlem, I mean, there's so much history that goes down in Harlem, and not just about the drugs, from the fashion to the business to the entrepreneurship. Both old, both new, the gentrification that's going on, pre-gentrification, the hustle, the ladies, the gentlemen, the gangbanging, the drug, everything all combined in one. I wanted people to get a real glimpse up close of the life that I grew up living and the life that's still going on, and, you know, I kind of navigate through.
You've always put on for Harlem.
Oh, it's where I'm from. I mean, I can't tell you about too much else besides natural life as we progress, you know what I mean? But I haven't lived anywhere else. Maybe Miami, I could tell you a few few dope stories about. Shout out to Miami, but you know, Harlem is the place of all creative that me and Cam have went through and things like that. Like, shouts to my brother Joel's. He'd be home in a jiffy. He sent some pictures home. He's looking real good. His skin is looking like olive Olay and all that. So, you know what I mean? He might have needed that vacation, man. Shouts to my brother. I look forward to him coming home.
I love this energy right now. I love it feels good. You know what I mean? Like, and I think it's important that we get to see all of this, and as fans and as consumers, that we enjoy seeing you happy and in a good place. And
yes,
you
me
know,
too.
Everyone was happy to see Cam come out at JayZ's show and seeing everybody together. Were you surprised that it actually happened? For me, I wasn't, just so you know. I just felt like there's going to be a time when everybody was good.
Well, I mean, they kind of put me in the mix of it to make it happen. So it was just like I was surprised when I got a phone call to a system and getting it to happen. I was like, wow, I don't know about how.
I don't know what Cam's going to say back.
I don't know about this phone call, but, God bless. Time heals everything. As we grow older, we choose to make decisions that we wouldn't have made 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And sometimes the decisions are worth the wait. And I think that this was pretty dope for history, for being men, and it's showing other people that some of the things you might not think can never happen can't happen. The unthinkable always comes around. You know what I mean? So, and I was happy to be a part of it. I was happy to be there. I was happy to witness it. I was happy to come out on stage. Like, I was like a chicken head that night. Like, this is definitely the apex of what's going on in hip hop for right now. I mean, I know there's been a lot of reunions and things like that throughout the years. The Nas and Jay was incredible. The Fat Joe and Jay was incredible.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
For us, it was a little bit different because it was all in house. Like, you know what I mean? We was a part of that whole faction and the division that happened when they broke up and all that, and we were just being solid as soldiers we were and things like that. So all time heals all wounds, man. So, and that's a true testament, as you can see.
What were you thinking when it was time to go out on stage? Were you having any doubts like, wait a minute, hold up, is this really happening? Here we are, Webster Hall, and like, what were those emotions?
It was funny for me, so when I walk in the building, everybody at this point, Jim is Rock Nation, so it ain't really nothing, but they got the door with the big camera on something, and niggas like. You see everybody looking at walking, they like, yo, what's going on? Like, what you mean what's going on? Like, yo, why they got camera on the door? Like, duh.
Yeah.
They like, so the feeling I got watching everybody get antsy and anticipating, like, and then, Cam stayed outside till it was damn near time to go on. So when he came in, it solidified it anyway. And then when walking through the backstage. And we walking through the backstage and, we laughing, making our jokes. So, this is a real personal moment above all for people in the hip-hop. I know for them is the hell of a historical moment. But for us, it was a real personal moment because we was the ones that was actually in the midst of what happened when the division went on. And it wasn't all about the music. It was... It got to a real serious point at different times to see all of this come to a head in this way. Pause was dope.
Yeah, and I wanted to hear that from you just because, again, as fans who are watching, I mean, it has to be completely different because there's a friendship. There's that connection is different. We aren't friends with Jay and Cam and you like that. It's like I'm happy to see that just because it was selfishly for us,
Yes.
We loved it, but I'm glad it was fulfilling for you and everybody.
Yeah, because it was genuine. Like it could have been, you know what I mean? If it wasn't genuine, it would have just been, but it wasn't about no clout. It wasn't about chasing no clout or nothing. No. It just was all about real history, and we did that majorly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and drank champagne while we did it.
What would you say has been one of your best moments in your career? Like, I know you've had a bunch, right? But ones that like we wouldn't know about that was so important for you that you want people to know that was part of your legacy.
In my career?
Yeah.
Or something that happened during my career?
It could be during or right before your career took off, but you remember this moment as being one of the greatest moments that you've ever experienced. And like, we wouldn't know of it, but it definitely... It made you one of your happiest moments. I always feel like those stories are before you make it, right? When you're just not as rich and you're not.
Well, right before I did Certified Gangsters, so right around the time I was doing Certified Gangsters, I got pulled over in Brooklyn the same night my son was being born. So as I'm getting pulled over, I'm getting a call that my son's being born. And being pulled over is nothing, but if you ain't got no license and a firearm in the car, it is something. And it was, needless to say, that God was on my side that night, and I kind of got out of the whole situation.
Wow.
Didn't have to. I mean, it worked. It worked in my favor, and I got to go see my baby boy being
Wow.
born, and that probably is the most dopest moment in my
Life.
yeah.
Yes, because that
Yeah.
could have gone a whole different way.
Bro, it was like it's
Woo.
it's so many. It's a few things during that time when my son was being born that happened that I should have. And God is there. It got to be a God, but them type of moments. So, but as far as the party and all that type of things, like some of the earlier moments, like when me and Cam and Mason, everybody were just young and first signing deals and stuff like that. Those are like some of the most memorable times that we could imagine. Like Cam called me 2 days ago, and not to say nothing like I love my Muslims, assalamu alaikum, but we was talking about the kufi list. That was a thing that we have and things like that. So he was like, telling me the first person that we we put on a kufi list, and this was a long time ago. Getting in the party at Mace's, one of Mace's parties and things like that, and they didn't want to let us in, and it just was just the laughs that we got. Those are the moments that resonate the most to me when it comes to, because we weren't jaded at that point. Like the money couldn't come in between us. There was no ill friendship. Nobody was jealous. It was just all of us just finally getting a piece of success and a little bit of money, and everybody was innocent and naive to how treacherous this game was going to treat us as we got into it.
I feel like, though, that's the energy that I'm feeling now, right? I feel like, yes, that's great. Then there's the middle part of the career, right, when things go up and down. But I feel like everybody's settling in their own, right? Don't you feel that?
Definitely.
I feel like everybody's like, yeah, no, I'm good. I know who I am. I know what I've done. I know where I'm at.
Yeah, definitely. I say that all the time. I don't have to act the way I once acted to get my point across. And I'm working on that as I go on. Like I'm not, like I told you, I've been fighting depression with aggression for lots of years. So and it's still an ongoing battle. So and I refuse to let it get the best of me. So now it's working on my humility and do things that kind of blow some steam off, so I don't react the way I used to react on certain situations, because a lot of these situations I put myself on could be avoided from me. You know what I mean? And
this is growth, man. Just hearing this.
I put a lot of strain on myself for me just being who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a lot of pressure, just in general, just for someone who's not in the position that you're in. Like, life is hard.
It's hard, especially coming up I got PTSD, man. I'm shell shocked out here. It's been hard for me,
and it's real.
Nah, but I live a good life, man. I live a good life. Like, I've been blessed. Like, I got no excuses, man. Like, every day I wake up to hustle like everybody else to make sure my family could do the things they want to do, the things that I couldn't do when I was coming up. You know what I mean? Like, we live an extraordinary life. Like, to be in this game is like being in the NBA. Like, everybody's not allowed in it. So if you want to take full advantage of what you could do, man, and watch out for the people that's trying to take advantage of you.
What would you say has been the biggest lesson for you in this industry? I mean, I'm sure there's many lessons, right? But someone who's, inspired by you and they love your journey, they're from Harlem or they're from wherever, and they're just like, I relate to him. And you're just like looking back at younger you, what's the best piece of advice you would give yourself first coming into the game?
More education about money.
That's big.
You dig? Like,
yep. No, yeah.
You can make all the money in the world in this game, but can you keep it? Everybody could get to the top, but can you stay there? You create a lifestyle that you love. Can you maintain it? Like, these are the things I had to learn, because you get into this game and everything you see you want, and this is the life that you want to live forever. In reality, it might not be like that if you don't make some smart moves. Like, shit, I was warped when I was on the ball and run, like warped, done, like, you know what I mean? And to climb back from doing different things and making sure, and then to be in a man's position who really take care of his family, you never want your family to feel anything that you went through. So you do some things that you might not necessarily want to do, or let your family know you have to do, so they can still
live the life.
Boom. So, this is what this game is about. And I tell people, if you want to get into it, know it's one of the most discouraging games you ever going to get into. That's one part. The next part, to be in this chair here is one of the most dangerous occupations you can have in the world.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. I know soldiers that went to war that don't go through the things that we went through just being a rapper. I promise you. Pros and cons here. So, you know, you take all that with a bunch of good luck, a lot of prayers, and some
hard work.
And some hard work and some real talent. And they might,
And even then,
they maybe consider, they might consider considering you maybe. If you work a little bit harder.
I tell people all the time when I never want to discourage anybody, but it's just like, look, you just don't know. You could have had everything lined up the way you thought it was going to be, and it still won't work.
I promise you that. So I started a consulting agency. It's called the Consulting Agency.
Yeah.
Very genius of me. But I did that for a reason, to show artists, to kind of to give them the platform to give themselves a fair shot at getting into this industry, because it's not promised. But if you kind of get your things together, you know that you did everything that artists like myself and a bunch of other major artists have done to get a shot at becoming a star. Because a lot of times when you get into this game, you throw a lot of money away. If you don't know where this money needs to be spent, it's never going to be spent right. You just, you know what I mean? If you don't know the proper people that you need to get with to kind of get certain things moving for you, if you don't, like, so it's a lot of things that I've been trying to do to kind of help different artists come along and get into this industry.
And I think it's important because, you know, man, at least for me, myself, I wasn't taught financial literacy at a young age and understanding stocks and bonds and all the things that I feel like this is what they should teach us in school, right? But it's like we weren't taught this, and you're learning, and they're costly errors that we've made along the way. But it's important that you learn from it and move forward, you know? Yes.
That's the most important part, is if you can learn from it and then capitalize after learning from your mistakes. And that's what I'm doing now, man. If I had the knowledge, like you said, like, so I took my son last year for his birthday, took him to the bank, had him open up his first bank account, and showing different things about money. And he's kind of getting it. He spends a lot of money. He think money grow on trees, but he's getting it a little bit.
It's because, you know, you've took care of your family, you know? So now he's like, well, what do you mean?
Yeah, he wears my sneaker size, so he's been robbing me of sneakers. It's getting bad in the house. But that can
save money, though, right?
No, nah, he can't wear my sneakers before I wear them. Like, it's getting bad. Can't wear all the drip. Let me get my drip off first.
But, you know, I love that. I love hearing this, just because, you know, we've seen you grow in front of the cameras for so long, but to see, you know, fatherhood and, you know, teaching your son to open up a bank account, and how would you feel fatherhood has changed your life? You know, because people think it's only when the baby's born it changes your life, but it changes your life every day for the rest of your life.
Every day for the rest of your life. Like, it's not a day that go by that I don't think about my son. But fatherhood has helped shape me, help me be able to talk to people, talk to you right in this. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of the best things that has happened to me. I mean,
that's beautiful.
One, I didn't grow up with my father, so the few times that I did get to hang out with my father were some of the best moments in my life. Just to even be next to him, around him, in his energy, in his space, even to the time when he got older and he got sick before he passed away. So, in turn, I want to be everything to my son that I couldn't get from my father, that I really wanted, and I pride myself in that. And it's nothing more fulfilling, you know. And at the same time, keep me a one-track mind, because when I'm on that road, I know I got to get back home. I got to make it back home. There's nothing stopping me from getting there. So,
I enjoy the growth. When I'm able to see someone that has given us so much of their self, right? You've given us so much of you. But
I've definitely given people damn near all of me.
Yes. Would you say working out, because, a lot of people are like, damn, you really be on your workout. But I feel like that helps you.
Yeah.
Like yourself, your health, and not just the physical, but I think it's so much more than just physically being good. It's like mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual. There's so much that goes into it. Would you say that's something that you take away from working out? Because you go hard with it. I saw you on the bench press. I think you said you forgot to post chest day or something.
Yeah, my shoulder been out of whack for like a year. I had messed up my rotator cuff, so I'm finally kind of getting really back into the groove of things and handling some weight. But yeah, fitness is one of the things that been helping me mentally for a long time. Like, it kind of puts me in a space. You know, I like to work out with my trainers and all, but I really like to work out by myself, as I could focus up and I could really get into myself, and it kind of knocks a lot of the edge off throughout the day and stuff and then it keeps you mentally fit. I mean, as well as physically fit. It keeps you sharp. You get to think about everything that's going on with you while you, and it's a battle against yourself. Like when you in the gym, it's like this is nobody else's fight but your fight. So the more you committed to it, the more you're going to get from it. And that's like a testament to life. Like, you put that work in, you're going to get what you know what I mean? So
I think it's good. I love when I see, promotion of health, man. And I think now I feel like society cares more about, mental health, our emotional health, and all that is important, man.
Yeah, mental health is...
It's real.
It's a real. As we was coming up, that wasn't one of the big issues. We said a couple people was crazy. Oh, you getting SSI checks every month? This nigga is crazy. But a lot of us needed an SSI check coming up because bunch of us is really the crazy ones. You know what I mean? A bunch of us needed more help than them kids that was getting help. And as time progresses, everything comes to the light. And I think now, this past few years, there's been a lot of...
Which is great.
Super great.
And it's so healthy for everybody. And I think people should, if you feel like you need help, whatever it is, and however, in what level, get it.
Even if it's just talking to a friend who understands you and understands life and can give you some sound advice. Like, you know what I mean? Don't keep no dummies around you. And then you're just going to be bumping heads.
Yep.
It's going to be terrible. You know what I mean?
We were just talking about, before we started the interview, you saw the docuseries of When They See Us. That happened in Harlem. Now, you remember when that case was going on.
That happened across the street from me. I live in Taft. That's Schaumburg. That's 1 block away from my building. It's Schaumburg is on 110th and 111th between Madison and 5th. My building is on 112th and 5th Taft Projects. And the same age group. I was about 13 when that happened. It was about 14, 15. You know what I mean? And like I was just telling somebody earlier, it's funny how the news put it back in the day when we seen it on the paper, and it was like wilding. It was like, first of all, what is wilding? Like, who put the D on it? Like, and this wasn't like a thing. Like, yo, like we going wilding.
Right.
That's just a slang. And we was wilding last night. Like we gonna be wilding tonight. Like, but they put the D on it. It just show you. Like, so when I watched it, it just bring me back to the time when it felt like the time that it happened all over again. And it was like shock value for the whole neighborhood, because at that time that was what a lot of kids done. It was run around in packs and just it's Harlem. It was a lot of different things that went on in Harlem as kids growing up in inner cities and having no outlets. We done a lot of shit that we shouldn't have done, and these were some of the things, but by far that wasn't what we was out doing. Was what, you know what I mean? And just to watch it, it was like, wow. Like,
did it take you to a place, because you grew up there, you were around it, where you just like, damn, they were kids. You were kids.
To understand what happened to them after that. Like, so you don't hear,
Right.
So now to think back and remember all that, and then now realize that from the moment we saw that in the newspaper.
Right.
Because that's what it was. We saw everybody's faces on the newspaper, and it's all, that's niggas like, oh, I know. It's like, yo, then it's like, now you see that like, oh my God.
They were robbed.
They were robbed of everything. But this is stuff like this still goes on today. Right. So to see that in the midst of it being robbed was a bit refreshing, that they got to
share their story and we get to see it. But it's just when you see that and they're innocent and they've been robbed of their childhood.
From a child, though. So I think about my son. Like,
yes.
I'm going to sit there and watch it with my son, because I know it's hard to get these kids to sit down and for 3-4 hours to watch a show. But I really want to sit down with him and watch it, so
you haven't done that yet, right?
No, so he can understand what can happen while he's outside, like, and the things that me and his mother and his grandmother and Chrissy and everybody worry about as he's growing up in today's society. Like, you got to be careful, man. You can't just, you know what I mean? Like, I was telling him, like, being too cool for school is kind of, that's terrible. Don't worry about being accepted, because 9 times out of 10 you are already accepted. It's the things that you do extra that's gonna make you into a dub, because you're gonna sooner or later do some shit that
Right.
everybody gonna be laughing at you about, or even talking about you like you're an idiot about. And that's how the cool kids kind of X themselves out when I was coming up by going too hard, and I've done that too. So I want him to see this at his age, to let him know, like, yo, these consequences now that you're 16 are gonna get way heavier.
Yes.
Now than it was when you were a young kid. You know what I mean? And these are the things that I've been thinking about the whole time watching it. Like, man, if my son, I don't like. And you know what I mean?
As a father, I can't even. But you lived it during that time.
To watch the father interactions and stuff like that, and that goes to show you how it's fucked up in the hood when people don't have nothing, and how
no education.
Don't know what's right from wrong, or when it comes to the legal system. So it's so easy to get duped in when they put that pressures of you losing every little bit that you have.
Yep.
They're gonna wipe out you. You're already damn near on public assistance at the bottom of the barrel in the projects, and then he springs some shit on like, well,
I cry so many times seeing that. I just couldn't, because it's like you see the whole family go through it. They don't know. The father who's saying yes, just say it, just so, because they told me that's how you're gonna get home, and you're just
because of him thinking he would lose his job and whatever they would have, and them not knowing what the legal system is, and all they had to do was say lawyer.
That's it.
One word. Lawyer.
That's it.
Lawyer. And nobody, but back then, the knowledge of just saying lawyer wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like say lawyer in here with these, it was a whole different society in Harlem. The police was different. Everything was just nasty. It's terrible to watch. That shit was a real eye opener, like, for me, from coming up from that neighborhood and then still being here and then seeing this shit today is like, that shit was like a blast from the past. Like, wow.
Ava DuVerney did such a great job putting that together.
She caught that. The actors, phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Corey, that was the last dude. Yeah. The last episode. Yo, bro needs an award. Like, bro, they all got busy, but the last episode,
and I mean his story,
when he was in the box and he was they caught that lady.
Ava DuVerney did that.
You did that, boo.
And I don't know if you've been keeping up with what's been going on. So the prosecutor, the lady who was head of the sex crimes department, the one who was basically hunting them down, and then their lawyer who was representing them. So she's still employed, but the main lady, she deleted her social media since all this came out.
Yes,
and I'm just thinking, like, you robbed them of their childhood.
Of everything. Children. You put this on them. You purposely put this on them so that you could take a step up on the political ladder.
For what? They were kids. They were innocent.
Savage lifestyle, and they call us savages. We don't got enough power to be savages.
Right.
I swear.
God. I was so curious what you thought of it, because, you're from Harlem, and now knowing that was across the street, and now you're looking at it not just from, I was there, but as a father. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. That definitely was a crazy-ass time when that all happened, because, just everybody, from the east side to the west side. Because Schaumburg is, Fifth Avenue where we at, is the middle of Harlem. They call that the border. So if you go to the left, that's the east side. If you go to the right, that's the west side. So that one strip, it's like surrounded the whole downtown Harlem, like everybody. It's just in the newspaper. It was like one of the biggest things that happened at that time. Yeah.
I mean, not just here. It was all over the country.
I understand. So imagine walking next to it and just everybody having conversations and everybody having...
And scared, right? And everyone's scared because like, man, they're just grabbing whoever.
Wow, kids it was a few, I mean, man.
Right.
It just was a wild time, man, growing up in that era, man, and it's definitely a Harlem story, and this is why in my music I try to regurgitate a lot of things that went on in Harlem. Like, that's why in the song I got with Fat Joe, I said a line like, I don't jog in Central Park, don't need mistaken identity. You gotta watch for the scammers because they taking identity, because we and that's way before the movie came out. That just was
life.
Me just saying what it is and stuff like that. But Shit, God bless them though, man. I know
Oh,
you
my
can't.
gosh.
You can't give. There's no amount of money that could give them back
Facts.
their time in life that they have, but they can start over
Yeah.
with a nice chunk of change and live like kings.
As best as they can.
As best as they can. Well, shit, they better ball hard, man. They better go for it.
Man,
you know what I
my
mean?
heart.
You got to go for it now, though.
Yeah.
You dig? Like you
Yeah.
got you're the people's champ. You got everybody's sympathy. You better live life. The rest of these days here.
Enjoy life.
Enjoy. Do what you want to do that makes you happy and smile. If it's balling, go ball. Like if it's fishing, go fishing. But you know what I mean?
Do what makes
Get
you
with
happy.
it. Get with it. Don't let them cheat you out yours. For real.
How have you and Chrissy been able to maintain such a great relationship? For people who are watching, they're just like, damn, they've been in it for years. What would you say is the best piece of advice you could give, couples or people who are in a relationship and they want to last a long time?
Constantly working at it, going through a lot of ups and downs, having a great woman that could deal with my shit all the time, and her understanding that she has a dope man, and I love her from crown of her head to the sole of her feet, and this is where I want to be. We've been with each other for a long time, and it's a lot of things that come at you in a relationship, whether you're actually married or whether you're in a relationship, and it's up to you to figure out how to get over those certain obstacles, and and a lot of talking.
Communication
is key. I mean, at times it's hard.
Right.
At times you're best friends and y'all talk about everything, and then at times, natural being a human being, it happens, and you just want to kind of, So, I don't have the remedy. I know part of it is knowing where you want to be,
right,
and knowing that no matter what comes up, that you're willing to work it out because that's where you want to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a lot of the time, mistakes tend to make your relationship that much stronger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
The little ups and downs, the little discrepancies, the things that you go through makes you understand the person, and sometimes what not to do ever again.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes what to do the next time.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's a learning experience.
It's definitely a learning experience. And, as long as you commit to that learning experience, and the next time it comes up, you kind of cover that base, then that's one thing that you add into the great part of your relationship. And then you got to travel, you got to go out, you got to have some fun, you got to have good love, you got to have sex, you got to do it all. You got to go hard. Like, you can't be a slacker. Like, you know what I mean? You got to just to do as much as you can. The things you people say they would do with their side, you got to make her your side, your main, your bottom, your top, your left, your right. Like, you got to get it. You got to do it all and have a ball. And that's what it is, man. She's actually my best friend, and I can say that wholeheartedly. Like, I trust her advice. I trust her word. I know she holds me down a lot of the time, way tougher than some of the toughest niggas I know, and these niggas is tough. You know what I mean? These niggas is tough. You dig? And they be nervous when she come in the room, so it goes to show you.
She's so solid.
No,
I mean, you could just
solid.
tell by all the moves she does, and just in general, when you could just tell.
She's her own person. She has her own story, and as everything happens in time. But her story we're working on also, because people need to know that she was in a hell of an era when it came to Harlem, and who that queen is, and who she was coming up, and how we thought of her, and who we thought she was coming up in Harlem. Like, she'd been my crush coming up, and just to end up in
being with her.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And just knowing the whole thing, and just the whole era of the fast cars, the money, that whole, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot to it. But, as a woman, she's one of the strongest women that I know. Like, she's persevered a lot. A lot, and she can be an example to a lot of young women and both women in general, because she has a real story. And I tell her all the time, like, you need to push more of who you are, so people can understand a little bit more of you, because your vibe gives
Especially
her vibe
for
gives
us women, we need it.
Her vibe gives it off. Like, I tell them, your energy, they know it's something there. Your energy tells it. So why not give it to them so they can really understand who they dealing with? You know what I mean? So she's the.
You got to bring her next time.
I will.
Like, you really got to cut this out.
I will.
Okay, because I would love to you know, I just would love to have a conversation.
I'm telling you, like
with
this
her.
album, she's one like they tell you she come in the studio, I'm knocking verses out in 10 minutes, so she walking like, yeah, I'm here, what's up? Like, oh, it's this, you know what I mean? Like she got that, she got that energy, that she got that on me. Like her energy is something that I need. It keeps me going and stuff like that. Like it's like my battery in my back when she around. Like I feel stronger than Superman. Like it's, you know.
This is, I mean, do you guys feel pressure that you guys are relationship goals? Or not really?
Sometimes you feel pressure, you know what I mean? When you go through different things, it depends on the scenario you in, and it kind of puts that whole mood on, like, you know what I mean? But for the most part, only pressure I feel is to make sure that she's happy, and I believe it's the same thing, you know what I mean? And whatever we going through is what we going through, and we're grown people, so nobody can dictate or tell us what we doing wrong or what we should have done. Like, we moving at the pace we like to move, you know what I mean? And I do know what a lady deserves and what a lady wants, and trust me, I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? Like you dig? But we living in a crazy society. Everybody on your back. Everybody got their own opinions. Like, man, do you have a lady? Do you have a relationship? How's your shit doing, man? Why don't you just go deal with that?
What you worry about you?
Yeah, do that for a second. Fuck.
Oh man, Jim Jones, listen. Don't be working on a project on the low and then just spring up on us in like 7 months and be like, oh, surprise, here's album number 8.
Yeah, no. I mean, all right, so I'm going to give you a little hint. I don't know if you want me to tell her that.
Yes, tell us.
So me and Cam about to...
Yeah.
I mean, all right, me and Cam about to do a project called Floss and Sauce, the Fly Boys, that we've been trying to do for many a years, and we really gonna have some fun with this project. So, you know, doing this album and him coming to the studio, jumping on records, the feeling was like, oh,
natural.
Yeah, you know, coming up and being in the Dipset group. As far as musically and artistry, I kind of was not as good as Cam and them. I had my own thing, so people understood, and I know how to make a record, and I know how to give you that sound. But as far as really, so now it's like I finally had a razor. Yeah, let's do it. Me and you go do the. We gonna go back to back and just hurt ourselves. Fuck it, we gonna just go everywhere, ball out, and go to the studio and go crazy. So I'm looking forward to this, man. This is gonna be very fun, man.
Okay, so the next time I see you, Chrissy will be here, and we're gonna be talking about this brand new album that you're working on.
Maybe you're here before that.
Okay, good.
There's a few more things we got coming, you know what I mean? But I got some. I'm working, man. I got the consultant agency out to Saucy. I got the weed brand. I don't know if you're familiar. Saucy, Capo products, like, you know, fitness, music, lit news. You know, we do the weather report.
I love those.
Shit getting out of hand now. When niggas waking you up talking about it's a nor'easter, it's a storm outside hitting. Listen, I'm only here to give you all the weather so before I go back to sleep. Shit fucked up out here. School's closed, probation closed, and the court is closed. I shouldn't have to say no more, nigga.
Did you realize it was gonna take off like
that?
No,
I had no idea. Chrissy, she stayed in Miami at the hurricane, and I was on a plane, and she like, I'm not going home. So I'm on a plane, have to run off a plane before they close the door to go get on another plane to go back to Miami to meet with her to stay in the middle of the hurricane. And my man, Reggie, person I work with, he like, man, you might as well give him a live report while you're out there. People gonna love it.
We love it.
It was, and from there, it was.
So what are we gonna do in the summertime? Like, how are those weather reports gonna look like? Is it gonna be like this? All right, so it's looking sunny, a little humidity.
We got a few things. Funny thing is, we got a couple people that it might turn into something else. Like
like this.
I've been people inquiring about.
Yes.
Actually, maybe you should actually take it a little bit further. And, you know what I mean? So give me a chance. I'm working here. Like you said, we want to restart. So we want to.
And we're so proud of you, and we love seeing you on this journey, because I really do truly believe this is just the beginning of so much more to come. And I'm just happy that you've been able to give us so much of you and still save some of yourself for yourself, because you got to.
You gotta save something for yourself.
You
gotta find some time for yourself, and I've been trying to figure that out also. Like, you, no matter who you are, you kind of, whether it's 24 hours, whether it's 48 hours, whether it's 5 hours, whether it's 10 minutes,
you need that.
And that's what the gym does for me. That's why I like working out by myself, because I could just.
It's you time. get your mind right. You know, it's always great talking to you. I feel good. I love this energy. And, you know, I don't know if you're ever going to get tired. You love the game so much. You love working so much. And we love everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
And can't wait to see everything else.
Thank you.
Of course.